Barney Stinson was the best character on How I Met Your Mother. He was the most relatable of the bunch for a young man like me, and through the 9-year runtime of the series, Barney was the one who transformed a lot until, well, we'll get to that. To understand Barney's journey, you have to understand his childhood. Born to a neglecting single mother who didn't tell him who his real father was, but instead told him a game show host on television was his father, Barney grows up, looking for a place to fit in and a person to love him unconditional. He found that in becoming a modern-day hippie in college and meeting his girlfriend Shannon. This is not just a Barney story, but a story of most young men these days. With a rise in single motherhood, a lack of good male role model, and an education system that discourage masculinity, most young men find it hard to find a place they could fit in that accept them, and find comfort in supporting social causes where they could get praises and acceptance. That is a place Barney found himself in during college with Shannon. Then reality hit him in the face when he caught Shannon sucking face with Greg, a suit-wearing rich playboy, because no matter how much women say they like nice guys, they will never end up with the simp. Getting dumped for a capitalist a-hole changes Barney's life, and he decided to become one himself. This is where our hero's journey starts. But first, a bit about the hero's journey. First recognized as a pattern by Joseph Campbell, it is common narrative archetype, utilized in storytelling and legends through the century to movies and TV shows of modern day. It has differentiating number of stages depending on the story, but the most common are the ordinary world, call to adventure, refusal, meeting the mentor, threshold, challenge or temptation, revelation, transformation, atonement, and return. The coffee shop is Barney's ordinary world. He seems happy, but he is in turmoil because he hasn't faced his loneliness and heartbreak that arise from his family dynamic, putting on a brave, helpful, and peace-loving face for the world while in deep sadness himself. So the call to adventure comes as form of flyer telling him to suit up, so Barney suited up and become Greg. But he has to find a healthy middle ground between the simp and the jerk. And for me, this is the main plot of How I Met Your Mother. How Barney transformed from a womanizer to a loving and kind husband, finding a healthy medium. As for mentor, meeting his friends is meet the mentor moment for Barney. He learned what a healthy relationship's supposed to look like from Marshall and Lily, and what not to do from his actual mother and father, and to seek love from Ted. The threshold hit when Barney gets hit by a bus. Facing death, he realized what he valued most. And it wasn't suits or scotch or an array of women. It was her. It was Robin who he was looking for. That is his transformation moment from Greg to the Barney he ought to be. But it wouldn't come easy. Realizing you want something and getting it are two very different things. He realized he wanted Robin, but he wasn't ready to date a woman like her. He dated Robin for a bit, but he wasn't ready to date her at the time. His transformation wasn't yet complete. So they seemed to destroy each other just by dating. So Barney go back to being Greg, which is his temptation stage, going back to what is familiar and comfortable. But it wasn't fulfilling as it used to be before he had his awakening. So he dated Nora, and he learns firsthand how a relationship's supposed to work. He learns to be understanding and learns to compromise. But Nora wasn't his destiny. She was his guide, so their relationship has to end. But the way it ended reveals there is still a bit of Greg left in Barney. So he has to make an atonement for his cheating. He has to go through the pain of seeing Robin dating Ted again, that he would fight his hardest to get her back. That is when he came up with the Robin, the last play of the playbook, where he actually burned down the playbook, shading the last remaining trace of Greg, and proposes marriage to Robin, which she accepts. This should have been the end of the story, but the creators of the series had other plans. You see, How I Met Your Mother was created by Craig Thomas and Carter Bays, and it is based on their real life when they were living in Chicago. The characters Ted and Marshall were based on Craig and Carter respectively, and the character Lily was based on Carter Bay's real-life wife. And the story was based on Craig Thomas's fear of loneliness when his two best friends got engaged. So for them, How I Met Your Mother is a story of Ted, telling his two kids how he met their mother in a long, detailed way without mentioning the mother. And the story starts when Ted meets Robin. As they write the beginning, they already had a plan how to end the story. And they already have filmed it when they filmed the first season 9 years earlier. Their plot was that Ted was telling this long-ass story to his children about how he met their mother without mentioning the mother in an effort to acquire their permission to date Robin, because their mother was already dead. Yes, for Craig and Carter, How I Met Your Mother is a love story between Ted and Robin that takes place over a 30-year period, and Barney is just a secondary character in this story that's used for humor since it's a sitcom. The problem with this plot, ignoring it is a love story where the love interest is already dead, is Ted is not the kind of guy you root for in his search for love, because you already know he is not going to end up with any of his love interests, because the show is titled How I Met Your Mother, and Ted doesn't go through any learning curve or transformation. He already is ready for a serious relationship. He just hadn't found the one yet, so it is difficult to relate to a character like that. And in an effort to use the ending they write and filmed 9 years earlier, they make Robin and Ted end up with each other, which we already established in Season 9. Season 8 and Season 3 would not work because Robin and Ted are not compatible, with Robin being an adventurous woman who loves traveling and taking risks, and Ted being a homely man who prioritizes safety and security. And they say goodbye to each other on an earlier episode of Season 9, before ending up with each other on the finale. Through all this, they ruined the best thing they unintentionally write, which is Barney's story arc, and they make Robin and Barney break up, making Barney a single womanizer again, going backwards. They try to save face by putting in a dumb plot line about Barney becoming a father and changing his ways. But it was a lazy cop-out, which didn't serve Barney or his story well. So pour some scotch out for our fallen bro Barney, who became a victim of a dumbass plot from writers who doesn't value character development. And next time you watch How I Met Your Mother, make sure to skip the last season. While you're at it, make sure to subscribe to this channel, and 1 like equals 1 high five for Barney. So make sure to smack that like button and see you on the next one.